And I go off to find Axel, who's got his own dressing room separate from the others in Giant Stadium. And I go and he's sitting in front of a mirror. And I go up to him and I go, "So Ax, I got a question for you." "What?" "Can you tell me when you're going to play Paradise?" "I don't know. When I feel like it." "Oh, okay."
In the hot seat, former Guns N' Roses manager, Mr. Alan Niven.
Guns N' Roses!
This is the same story. People could talk about it. There was nothing like the original. It was great. I saw it when they played CBGB's, the Limelight, when you were working with them, and I saw them when they played with the Cult. So I saw the Ritz with Great White. I remember watching these shows and seeing it live. I go, God, there's nothing like this band. See, New York, we had bands like that band Kix, and a buddy of mine that was in Biohazard, he goes, "There's a band better than Kix." I go, "Nobody's better than Kix." And when Guns came out to play the Ritz, I was like, wow, what is this? Everybody was a character. One looked like a heavy metal guy. One looked like the Stones. One looked like he's just from Los Angeles, surfer. Then you had Axl, cross between Janis Joplin and just his swagger with the Davy Jones dance. I mean, it was killer. It was unique.
When people ask, "Well, what was Guns N' Roses all about?" my response is always the same: go and watch the film.
You had to go watch it.
Yeah,
in the crowd. Yeah,
that Ritz performance, there you got it. That's what it was all about.
It was great. And what Guns N' Roses did do, because back then everybody was separated. They brought all the music community together: the glam rockers, the heavy, the trash, the hardcore thrash rockers, all together. Everybody was there. The punks, all in one. And you never saw that before. You'd see it all separated, and it was just a beautiful thing. And for that will always go down in history.
I think you saw it a little bit with the Rolling Stones at a certain period of time.
Yeah.
To my memory, and you can probably correct me on this, but to my memory, the Stones were one of the few bands that dodged the slings and arrows of early punk. When the early punks came along and said, "Everybody fucking sucks. Pink fucking Floyd. Yeah, fuck Floyd," and all that. The Stones kind of stood to one side and let the punks go on. Said, "Yeah, we'll see you later."
But they did an album that was a tribute to it, and it captured New York Some Girls around that time, the Rolling Stones, which it captured the sound of New York and that punky era in a rock and roll way.
Yeah.
Respectable was pretty punky. Miss You had the Studio 54 beat behind it, but it all worked. It was great. I mean, you put that record on from the first song to the last song, there's not one bad track on that. And it captures New York City. It captures 1977, 1978. It captures 79. All that together.
But I'm a beggars bleed sticky guy.
Well,
and
so you're
all the critics say it's Exiles. My response to that is, no, it's not. And Exiles would have been a better record if they'd recorded it in Muscle Shoals. It would have been a much better record.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. They would have captured more of that essence over there. Hey, you got your Brian Jones, you got your Mick Jones, and you got your Ronnie Wood, and I think they're all great. I guess Some Girl sticks out for me because it captures that time in New York, and it was like, wow, because they were considered old when that came out. The Stones were considered old, but yet they rocked so hard. And I'm like, wow,
considered old. Yeah. We played with them in 1988, and I thought they were a group of old country gentlemen. Then I'm going, they're still out here.
1, 2, 3.
Good Lord.
I remember that.
And then I got summoned to St. Louis to basically meet with Brian Ahern, who was their production manager. And Brian wanted to come out, me to come out. He wanted me to see the show. We wanted to talk together and, you know, get some understandings and so on and so forth. And I flew out to St. Louis with Slash, who didn't make it to the show because he managed to score off housekeeping. Okay, so he stayed at the hotel. I couldn't take him to the show. And I'm watching Steel Wheels, and my jaw is just dropping. I'm going, oh, fuck. We're in trouble. This is not a sloppy Stones tour like of the past. This has got the regimentation of Las Vegas, and he's put Las Vegas on wheels. And there's your answer to what does Steel Wheels mean? Yeah, he put a Las Vegas show that was that well drilled and that well performed and put it on wheels and took it around the country.
They took it. It was perfect.
And
That was still with Alan. Excuse me. That was still with Ian Stewart too, correct? Conducting
Ian was
them.
dead by then.
He was dead by then. It was
Yes,
Chuck
he
and
will.
so Chuck was there.
Yeah. And Chuck with two massive folders sitting on his keyboard. And what's that, Chuck? He goes, those are all the songs. Jagger might call an audible, and I might have 250 songs to look through to get to the audible.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, think about that. Their catalog is so vast.
Well, yeah. So Ian Stewart, I'm looking right here. So I think his last work was Dirty Work, maybe around that time with the Stones. He was only 47 when he died. Is that true? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He died in 1985. You're right. Wow.
Yeah.
47. Think about that. That's so young.
Oh, but back in the day, he was the old guy with the face that didn't fit that had to play on the side of the stage behind the curtain. Yet he was the one who had the greatest sense of musical integrity
Yeah.
in that group initially. They will all admit it. Stu was the guy who kept us on the rails.
Yeah. So then Chuck came right in after him. He was the replacement.
Yeah.
Perfect replacement. So Chuck's the guy who holds the band together and keeps that place. Wow.
Yeah.
So Chuck was just a little more, he knew how to run the ship. So when
Yeah.
you got on tour, when you Guns came on tour, you're like, whoa. That's it.
Yeah.
Who was running the ship, the music director for Guns at that point around that time? The guy called the shots.
Music director?
Yeah, it's like everybody has that music
What
director
are
of the band.
Oh, really? What's a music fucking director? I've never used one.
So who at rehearsals, who would make the set? Who would choose? Who would just make the final decision for the Guns world?
Axel would call audibles. I'll give you an example.
Hmm.
We're in Giant Stadium. We're opening up for Aerosmith. And because Aerosmith are a stablemate at Geffen, I don't have a problem in shooting my band on their stage because Tim Collins will not say no to David Geffen. And if I go to David and say, I want that stage and that audience for the next video, it gets done. Okay? So it's a union town. Our union bill for that shoot was $87,000, as I recall. That was just to pay the fucking union. Because I was taking 6 cameras in there. Because we were going to shoot the song once. It was going to be performed once. So we had to get every inch of film loaded into the cameras of those 6 cameras to make sure we maximized the images we could get of that song for the edit. And Nigel Dick, who was the director, comes up to me. He's looking a little frazzled. Nigel, it's a lovely fucking day. Look at the weather. We have lucked out. It's a beautiful day. This is going to be great. Is everything good? All your problems taken care of? And he looks at me and goes, well, I got one problem. And I go, okay, what can I do? I don't know when they're going to play Paradise City. Oh. And let me understand, that's because I need all my cameras fully loaded with maximum film for that entire song. So we need to know, and we're going to be shooting B-roll all the way through the set. So we need to know exactly when. So I go, no problem. And I go off to find Axel, who's got his own dressing room separate from the others in Giant Stadium. And I go and he's sitting in front of a mirror. And I go up to him and I go, so Ax, I got a question for you. What? Can you tell me when you're going to play Paradise? I don't know. When I feel like it. Oh, okay. And I turn around and go, and his curiosity went on. Why do you want to know when I'm playing in Paradise City? And I explained the thing about the camera. And he sat there with his head down for a moment. He goes, okay, fuck it. I'll do it fifth. There's your music director at work.
Fantastic. I was at that show. I remember it very well.
Yeah.
I remember that. Wasn't Deep Purple on that bill? Am I mistaken?
Yes.
That was my
Yes, they were. It was us, Deep Purple, and Aerosmith.
Yeah.
And we got the audience first.
That's right. I remember that. Axel he wore a white leather MC. I remember wearing white.
Yes. Yeah. And after that, we got on the Concorde and flew over to the UK to play Donington.
That was a great show. I remember seeing Guns.
What, a
broad
giant,
daylight?
A giant?
Giants. Yeah. It was broad daylight.
Yeah,
It was
in the afternoon. We played in the afternoon.
And they kicked ass. It was just incredible.
Oh, that audience was swarming to get close to the stage. I mean,
that audience. That's the first time in rock and roll history that for a band to go on first, that the audience really wanted to see that band more than the headliner, I felt.
You're not that far wrong. I mean, there was an incredible excitement and vibe, which we had at Donington too. And Donington, I did a sneaky. I learned something from the Sweet Child video. At that shoot, we'd loaded up some 16mm handheld Bolex cameras so we could get enough footage to actually do an edit. And I thought, oh, interesting. Well, we had permission to shoot at Giant Stadium, but we didn't have permission to shoot at Donington. And sometimes in rock and roll, it's better to ask for forgiveness rather than ask for permission, because you ain't going to get it. So I took the DP, Vance Burberry, and put him on the Concorde with us with a Bolex camera. And he shot a whole bunch of black and white footage at Donington that went into the video. And then, of course, I get the phone call from Iron Maiden's manager. Lovely guy. Anyway, he called me up and he's like, really, Niv? Where did all this footage come from? Did you ask my permission? Rod,
that's right.
Yeah. And, I said, well, Rod, forgive me. I'm asking for forgiveness because I knew I wouldn't get permission. And he actually laughed.
Rod Smallwood, that's who it was.
Rod Smallwood. Yeah,
That's
love
right.
that guy.
That's funny. Did Axel at the end of all, acting like a kid and to giving you a hard time, did he enjoy the Paradise City video at the end results? Was he happy?
I think so. I know he was unhappy with Sweet Child because it wasn't about him and Aaron.
Oh, he didn't like Sweet Child of Mine.
He didn't like the video. Read about it in the book. Yeah, I tell a story about the video shoots in the book.
When's
That
that
was-
book coming out anyway?
June 24.
Until then, who loves you, baby? We do. Click here and here for our next episode. That's all we have today. Thanks for being a patron and a members only. Catch you all later. Bye.